No. All right. Yes, good afternoon, class. I am happy to meet with you once again. And last week, we were able to discuss a poem, Government Driver on His Retirement by Chibuke Honu, a Nigerian poet. So this week, instead, we shall be considering a non-African poem written by John Donne. The poem is titled The Good Morrow. When we say good morrow is an old English. I want you to get the expression clearly. Good morrow is an old English and it means good morning. Now, taking a very good look at this poem, it is written by a metaphysical poet. And when we say metaphysical poet or metaphysical poetry at large, we refer to poetry that deals with high intellectuality rather than the known style of writing poem at that time, at that point in time. Metaphysical poetry came from a shift, a progressive shift from the Renaissance era in the 16th century. So when it was a quite different time from when poets used to write poems that deals with emotions, that deals with nature. Now, people who are fit to categorize or call themselves metaphysical poets, they are university dons, they are scholars that rather than making use of simple language use like irony and the like, they make use of extended metaphors, conceited irony, paradox, and other complicated language style, just to show and prove that what they do not accept anything they are unable to what they are unable to verify its validity. So people who find themselves in this category are intellect. So without dwelling much on that, even though it is important, so you have a good idea about the setting of this poem, John Donne was born into a Catholic family. He was born into a Catholic family, but we wouldn't be concentrating on that. He was born in January 22nd. I've forgotten the year. It was born January 22nd or January 27th, either of the two. Now, please, taking a good look at this poem, Good Morrow, it is a monologue. It is a conversation between a poetic persona and another subject that is unnamed. That is more like, let's say, it's a conversation between a man who happens to be the poetic persona and the subject that he loves, even though throughout the course of the 3-stanza poem, divided into 7 lines each, in total there are 21 lines. In these 21 lines, there is no place in the poem where it is stated, where the subject of love is stated. So we can only assume that the subject of love is a woman, a man to a woman relationship. Some critics have it the other way around, that the poet intentionally decided not to state or not to reveal the gender of the subject of love, but that is none of our business for now. So this poem is an obede. When I say obede is written A-U-B-A-D-E. And when we say obede, you can be asked to discuss this poem as an obede. It means a morning serenade poem. A poem that is written in the morning. That is what an obede is. So this poem being an obede is a monologue. It's a monologue. It's a narration of the poetic persona who is amazed and who finds it difficult to believe that he is able to get the kind of lover that he has. Let me throw you back to the former Prime Minister of Britain, Winston Churchill. There is this quote, popular quote of his, he is a celebrated writer, a Nobel Prize winner, and also the Prime Minister of England, the world power. Now, imagine him having this quote saying, my greatest achievement was my ability to persuade my wife to marry me. So he sees all other things that he had achieved in his life as not being equal to his ability to convince his wife to marry him. So that is to tell you the essence of love, the essence of relationship, the essence of good loving. Let me put it that way. The essence of good loving between two lovers. Now, let's look at the poem now. Let me read. He said, I wonder by my troth what thou and I did till we loved. Were we not weaned till then, but sucked on country's pleasures childishly, or snorted we in the seven sleepers then? 'Twas so, but this all pleasures fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, 'twas but a dream of thee. And now, good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear, for love, all love of other sides controls, and makes one little room and everywhere. Let sea discover us to new worlds have gone. Let maps to other worlds on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world, each hath one and is one. My face in thine eye, thine in mine appears. And true plain art do in faces rest. Where can we find two better hemispheres? Without sharp north, without declining west. Whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our two loves be one, or thou and I love so alike, that none can slacken, none can die. This is a very wonderful poem. Yeah, and you shouldn't be confused with the language of use. If you would see, there is a motive in this poem. Motive is written M-O-T-I-F. Motive is quite different from a theme. Theme is ideas in the work, but motive are recurring ideas. So if we take a very good look at 3-stanza poem, 21 lines in total, there is a recurring motive of love. And if you take a very close look, you would see that in the first stanza, line 2, you can see loved there. In the second stanza, line 3, you would see love written twice. And in the last stanza, the third stanza, you can see love in the penultimate line, that is second to the last line, and also in the last line. So love is a repeating idea. So this is a conversation. It is a monologue, rather. It is a monologue because it is only the poetic persona that speaks. So it's a poetic, it's a monologue. The poetic persona is surprised about how he is able to what? To have a lover that gives him so much joy, so much confidence. Now, let me begin line by line analysis. I wonder by my troth, what thou and I did till we loved. Wonder, the poetic persona, hi, is what? The poetic persona is amazed. The poetic persona is surprised as to how himself and the supposed lover, how did they even fall in love? This is not this is not a relationship class, but I've heard people say that the true love or the best love even come when you are not looking at all. I don't know how true that is, and it's not our business to even affirm that the best of love even come unexpectedly when you are least searching. When you begin or when you decide not to stress or bother yourself any longer, when you are fed up with the kind of cruel love and relationship you found yourself into, the moment you decide that, oh, I'm no longer looking, I'm no longer searching, that's when true love will come. So this person must have been someone who had what? Who had found himself in unpleasant relationships before, such that when he finds himself a good one, he is what? He became wondrous. He is amazed. He is so surprised. Were we not wind till then? Wind is from the verb, if written fully, the apostrophe will take an E. And you know what it means to win someone, to win. So you can win an infant, a baby, or an animal. Animals or babies are wind, living things are wind. It's the act of depriving a young one, maybe of a young baby or a young animal, breastfeeding. A mother or a mother animal decides to stop breastfeeding, that is what is called weaning. Were we not weaned till then? This is to show the what? The joy in this relationship, how immature they act. It is not all this immature in this sense. It's not in the literal sense of immature. Immature, when in this sense, immature in this sense means that what? They engage each other with youthful exuberance, with sincerity, innocence. You can imagine how a little child looks, innocent, without sin, without guilt. That is the scenario here. Were we not weaned till then, but sucked on country's pleasures childishly? They enjoy themselves, go sightseeing, see, so in some relationship, even a common joke or a joke is never common. In some relationship, lovers cannot even share joke. They only maintain lover status, or they only maintain the relationship, or they only maintain that lover status to what? To paint a kind of an image to the world that they are still together, they are not divorced. So many marriages are like this, so many relationships are like this. They just stay together and they slay together. But the true love, the true happiness is never there. So they sucked on country's pleasures childishly. They go sightseeing together. In some relationship, the husband and the wife or the two lovers cannot even wear the same clothes, which some lovers do. They take pictures together and putting on the same clothes. Some cannot even try this. Some can't even go out together. They can't attend public functions together. But this one, their case is quite different. They sucked on what? They sucked on country's pleasures childishly. Or snorted we in the seven sleepers then? Snorted we in the seven sleepers then? Seven sleepers then is an allusion. Seven sleepers then is an allusion to indicate or to show. It's an allusion to dangerous relationship. Let me put it that way. Dangerous relationship. Let me put it that way. Which I believe, in my own analysis, they've both experienced. They've been in unfavorable relationships before. They've snorted. They've wandered in on unfavorable relationship, in bad relationship before. And it was so. But these all pleasures fancies be. But now that they are no longer in that unpleasurable relationship, they are now in in an unbelievable romantic and better relationship. All pleasures fancies be. Everything that one could ever fancy in a relationship, they have it. They've done it together. Everything one could ever fancy, all pleasures one could ever fancy in a relationship, they are able to do this together. If any beauty I did see, now look at this confession now. If ever, look at that, Look at that adverbia. Ever, any beauty I did see, which I desired and got. It was but a dream of thee, which I desired and got. It was but a dream of thee. So if ever, look at the poetic person, dream of thee there, the dream of having you. Everything I ever desire and got, it was the dream of having you as my what? As my partner. You can imagine the extent of this relationship that would make a man, that would make the poetic persona profess this. And now, good morning to our waking souls. So this suggests that they are in the same place. They are in the same place. They've woken up in the same, in the, probably on the same bed. Now, good morrow to our waking souls, good hands, which watch not one another out of fear. It's not it's not the typical relationship that people find themselves now. You can imagine, how do we link this to societal happenings around us? Look at the cases of these ritual killings that abounds everywhere in part of the country. That abounds everywhere. There would be a man and a woman, they would be lovers, yet the man would behead or mutilate some other parts of the female body, the supposed lover. If a man loves a woman, is he supposed to cut the woman's head for ritual or for other things? No, it's not supposed to be so. But in this, their own relationship is not like that. They don't need to watch out for one another out of fear. Another way we can link this to what happens out around is this popular balance we call served breakfast that people say all around. Some partners cannot even exchange their phones. Go through my phone, go through my WhatsApp, go through my emails, go through my this, go through my gallery. They find it difficult to do that. They can't do that. But theirs is not that. There is nothing to fear. For love, all love of other sides control. For love, all love of other side control. So this their love is what? Is commanding. It is the best. Excuse me. It is the what? It is the best, and makes one little room and everywhere. Makes one little room and everywhere. Even that is to tell you that it doesn't need to get to a situation when the man has it all. You don't need to have it all. You don't need to purchase everything in this world before you can what? Before you can find good and true love. You don't need to have everything in this world before you can what? Be in a good relationship. And make one, even if what? And make one little room and everywhere, even if it is just a single room BQ, a single room boys quarter, a one room apartment, a one room self-contained. If there is love, love triumphs all that. There's this popular saying that they say that a good woman can make a poor man feel like a king. A good woman can make a poor man feel like a king. Now take a look at that. A good woman, not a beautiful woman, not an intelligent woman, not a graduate. All these things do not matter. Not a rich woman, a good woman. That is what he said. A good woman can make a man feel what? Like a king. Can make a poor man feel like a king. So I make one little woman everywhere. So even if it is just a small room, it could be what? It could be their own world. And they would be satisfied. Yet, on the contrary, lovers, people might be in a relationship and they live in mansions, yet there won't be true love. It's possible. In fact, that is what is very common around. You can live in mansion, yet there won't be true love. You can be married live in mansion. I have mansions in Lagos, I have mansions in Abuja, I have mansions in Port Harcourt and other nice places around the country. I have it around the world. Travel every 2 weeks, travel fortnightly, travel monthly, go on vacations and the likes, go to Bahamas, Maldives and the likes. If you get it's still possible that there won't be true love. So that mansion of theirs would be a what? Would be a what? A skating one. It would be burning and hurting them fiercely. But this poetic persona's own, and make one little room everywhere, even with the scarcity, even with the little things that they have, contentment is there. They are contented. Now, let's go forward. Let's see discoverers to new worlds have gone. You know, I told you this poem was written in the 16th century, immediately after the Renaissance era, that bettered the metaphysical poetry itself. So it was a time when there were conquests around the world. There are some notable conquests. People were conquering new world, claiming territories and winning more lands, getting more lands, adding lands to their territory. Expansion. There are what? Territorial expansions from these different world powers then. There's nothing like USA then. So different world powers then. People are beginning to move around. Even Britain was getting set to conquer to different other countries. So let's see discoverers. Let them travel around and go and discover new places that they will add in their own in their map. Let's map to others. World on world have shown. Let people go around and let us lithographers, people who go around drawing maps. He has no business. He has no business with them. What does he have business with? He said, what? Let us possess one world. Let us possess one world. Each hath one and is one. Look at that. That single world, it would be what? Would be theirs. Would be jointly theirs. So they live in the same world. Living in the same world in that context means living on the same page. So people might be lovers, people might be married, people might be together in a relationship, and they would be what? Worlds apart. If the husband says A, the wife will say B. If the husband said he likes his food this way, the wife will cook it the other way. If the husband say, let's go on vacation to India, the husband would say something else. They are worlds apart. But in this poetic personal's case, they are what? Let us possess one world. They want to have a joint world. They will always want to be on the same page. And being on the same page, what will happen? That's the last stanza. My face is thine high. That is, when I look at you, I see a reflection of me. When you look at me, you see a reflection of yourself. So some singers have, all these people that go about in all these relationship stuffs, they know these things better than I do. Look into your eyes, what I see. I think you understand that. So my face in thy eyes, that is, thine there is old version for your eye, and yours in mine appears. So when I look into your eyes, I see myself. When you look into mine, you see yourself. And true plain art do in the faces rest. So our heart is plain. We have no reason to be afraid. Just like he is reiterating what they have in the second line of stanza 2, which watch not one another out of fear. So stanza 3 again, and true plain heart do in faces rest. That is, in situation like that, when you look into my eyes, we find peace with each other. In situations like this, in true plain heart do in faces rest, they would find solace, they would find comfort, they would find unrivaled peace. Where can we find two beta hemispheres? You know what an hemisphere look like? There's no way we would cut half a sphere is what is called an hemisphere. So there is no way you would look at a sphere. There's no way you would look at a sphere and 4 edges. There will always be 4 edges. You should have done bearing in your mathematics. If you've done bearing, you should understand what I'm saying. You see the North Pole, South Pole, East and West. So there's no way you look at it. There's no way you look at the two beta hemispheres without what? Sharp north and declining declining west. That means that what? The poetic persona is able to identify and admit that even with all these derived and desired pleasures, or desired and derived pleasures, there are still somewhat, there would still be some differences. They can't be 100% perfect. So you can't find two beta hemispheres. Oh, this is two beta hemispheres. Oh, then you won't find a sharp north and a declining west. There would be what? There would be some openings. But what matters is what? How they manage this opening. You know, it has been said towards the where is it stated that let us possess one world, each has one and is one. That they want to live in the same world, be on the same page. So if they are on the same page, then without sharp north, without declining west, all these imperfection will never pose a problem whatsoever. Then he goes on to ascertain their rhetorical question that where can we find two beta hemispheres without sharp north and without declining west? So he goes on to affirm and says, whatever dies was not mixed equally. If anything ever happened, you know, all these cases of two lovers are divorcing, or they are no longer at peace with each other, they are working toward divorcing each other. All these things that cause about home wreckage, or breaking of marriages, breaking of relationship and heartbreaks and the like. Whatever dies was not mixed equally. That is, the chemistry was never there. The chemistry was never there. The only thing is that people fail to what? People fail to look at the signal. There are some red signs that you see when you deal with people, not necessarily all these platonic or amorous relationship, even among friends, a male and a male friend, a girl and another girl. There are some red signals that you must see in relationship, that once you see these red flags, it tells you that you people are not compatible. Yes, compatible is the right word to use. The chemistry is never there, was never there. So whatever dies was not mixed. Whatever dies was not mixed equally. So, but you know, people tend to force themselves in relationship. When you are dating someone, you are yet to marry the person you are courting, and the person is already beating you, cursing you, doing all sorts of things, maltreating you. But because of one thing or the other, you foolishly decide to hold on to that relationship. Now, who is to be blamed when things go sour, when things go bad later on in future? Who do they blame? Who takes the blame? No one. You should be the one to take the blame. So whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our two loves be one, or down and high. So if our love is one, if we make our love uniform, just like let us possess one world, each heart one and is one. If our two loves be one, the love I have for you and the one you have for me, if it is the same, if it is the same, you know, in some cases, that is to tell you that in some cases, it might be the male that loves the female, and the female might not love the male as much as the male does. Or it could be that it is the female that likes the man. It is the female that likes the male. And it's just, she's just going on with the relationship with the hope that, with time, the love will be reciprocated. So if our two loves be one, or thou and I, love so alike. So if the love is reciprocated, if the love is balanced, if the love is compatible, if the chemistry works, love so alike that none can slacken. That is the case of their own love. Love so alike, that is, their love is similar. It is not that one person is being used. People use themselves in relationship. Some ladies go for men because of some privileges that they have. Maybe they have a car, they have a good house, they have this, they have that. That's what is keeping some girls in some relationship. Oh, this person can spend on me. He can do this, he can do that. They don't care about other things that matters. So if our two loves we one, or thou and I love so alike, that none can slacken. And if two lovers are compatible, believe me, nothing can come in between them. Nothing can come between them. Not even what? Not even friends, not even haters. No one would eavesdrop. No one would gossip about the other. Do you know, let me tell you something about your husband. Let me tell you this. So many friends have ruined relationships. So many friends have ruined relationship because of what they envy, how good, how blissful their friend relationship is. So they go on to give them bad advice. They go on to spoil their relationship. So if love is so alike that none can slacken, none can die, then the love can never die. I believe you understand that. You understand this poem. If love so alike that none can slacken, none can die. So this poem is also a what? You can say this poem is a cap diem. This poem is a cap diem. When we say cap diem, I think I'm sorry, when I teach, I make use of things that students want to hear. I think there is this album by Olamide, maybe last year, I'm not too sure, or years before, titled Cap Diem. So Cap Diem means love poem. So this poem, you can be asked, discuss John Donne's Good Morrow as a Cap Diem. So don't look at Cap Diem, CARPEDIEM. Don't look at Cap Diem and think it is. Don't look at Cap Diem and think it is. Don't look at Cap Diem and think it is something. This is it. This is it. And this is how bait. I believe you get that. This is how Cap Diem and how bait is written. So you can be asked to discuss this poem as a Cap Diem. It's a love poem. Everything about this poem is about love, relationship. You can be asked to discuss this poem as an obit. It's a good morning poem. It's a confession made by a joyous lover. It's a confession. It's a confession. It's a monologue made by a joyous lover who is surprised as to how he is able to get into the relationship that he finds himself. Now, let's consider the themes. What will you highlight as some of the themes that we have in this poem? Let me give you some minutes to think. I had to go to the back of the house. The network is bad, but I believe that this recording should be Should be okay. I believe you should be able to hear me so far. So now, besides the team, there is something I would want us to also consider: the language and style. The language is simple. It is straightforward. You know, it is something we can relate to it. Even as students, let's look at this as a friend-to-friend scenario. As secondary school students, let's take a look at this as a relationship between two friends, a male and a male friend, same sex, same gender friend, a male and a male, a female and a female friend. You know, at times you might have a friend before and you feel like, what kind of what kind of friend is this? And you no longer see yourself doing things together with the person until you get yourself another what? Until you get yourself another friend. Now, maybe the friend that you get yourself this time around, maybe the kind of friend that you will get for yourself would be what? Would be a friend that what? That gives you so much what? A friend that gives you so much joy. That gives you so much joy. Now, take a look at this. It says the good moral. The three verses move from, I want you to understand the shift, move from the past. That is the verse 1. He was reminiscing about the love before, the enjoyment, the fancy, everything, true to the present. Let's see, let all these seed discoverers, let all these those who draw map, let them go about doing their things, let them go about doing their thing. They live in a what? Their kind of love, their kind of true love makes it what? Makes it easy, makes it possible for them to what? To enjoy themselves, to enjoy their life in a what? In a small house. It makes a small place and everywhere. That's the present. Then to the future. The future is that what? With the way their love is, if they make their world one, and they make their love one, and they ensure that they are always on the same page, and that they are ensure that no one comes in between them, then their love can never slacken, their love can never die. And this is the prospect of what? This is the prospect of eternal love. So the harmonious content is reflected in the 3-stanza form, and it has a regular rhyme scheme of what? A, B, A, B, C, C, C. A, B, A, B, C, C, C. And the reading mostly what? Iambic pentameter, and iambic written in 6 and iambic written in 5. Believe you understand this now. Now, the assignment I am going to give you is that, you know what themes are? When you are asked, or when you are given literature in English question, the cheapest or some of the simplest questions you can be asked is not this down. When you are asked questions on themes, when you are asked questions on themes, when you are asked question on setting, you can be asked to link the setting, the time a poem is written. So this poem was even written, you know, John Donne was born into a bad Catholic family, but he denounced the faith. When he became more of an academician, he questioned the status quo. He doesn't believe in the what? He doesn't believe in it anymore. So you can be asked to link the settings. Another is what? The one that asks you questions on characters. In some poems, some characters can be mentioned. Characters I have decided to write, okay, let me write it in full so you won't be wrong. Questions on characters. They are cheap. Then lastly, questions on what? Language and style. That's when you ask questions on mood. That's when you see questions on tone. That's questions on rhyme.